I don't have a cameraman. I admit. Hey, I was waiting around for a cable guy to come. He was here like 3 minutes, and I'm like, I could have been doing stuff. Anyway, I've been wanting to make this for a while. It's rye bread in the bread maker. So, oh yeah, by the way, make sure you wash these separate. Don't wash it like that. And I hand wash both of these, by the way. I think it looks better. But I'm gonna put that back in there. And with any bread maker I've had, this is my third one. I like the 2-pound size. There ain't no sense in bothering doing this if you're just gonna make a little loaf of bread. So you might as well make a 2-pound capacity if you're gonna buy one. Look for yard sales, estate sales, online marketplace type of thing to get you one. Because a lot of people use them a couple times and then put them away. They don't have room in the kitchen or whatever. I always kept mine in the garage. Like I'd start it and then I would hear the timer ding, ding, ding and go down. So it's out of the way and it plugs in down there, whatever. Anyway, rye bread today. And I'm supposed to use rye flour. I actually was a good girl and wrote it out. Rye flour, but I don't have rye flour, but I have whole wheat flour. I drew a gold medal. Hey, the guy won a gold medal for his flour at some convention. I don't know when. A miller's convention, right? Do you keep your little things inside here? I have like multiples of the scoopers. So this is a half. So we're going to put everything in here in this order at room temperature. I don't have to have an egg out at room temperature, but the only thing that would have to be really room temperature is the butter. There's 2 tablespoons of butter. I need a cup of whole wheat flour or rye flour. Fluff, fluff, fluff. Okay. That's a half. So this is another half. I fluff it. You could sift it if you want. I'm not doing it. Okay, that's that. Back at you. I don't use this really often. I make a nice honey wheat bread in the bread maker too. And another thing I put honey in with bread is oatmeal bread. It's really good like that. So next we have bread flour. If you don't have bread flour, I forget how to make it. Okay, and I need 2 3/4 cup. I gotta get one out of here. My 2. I need something to scoop it with too. So again, I'm gonna fluff it. 2 3/4. So not a lot of rye bread or whole wheat bread to this ratio, is there? Count with me. 1. I was wondering, I didn't think that was gonna be enough flour to make a bread. Hi, Jasmine. That guy's gone now. You're out of hiding. This is 2. And then what was it? 3/4. 3/4. I could judge. Ooh, I'm almost out of bread flour. Actually, that looks pretty good. I have the proper measuring cup, but I didn't use it. Okay, out of my way. And this is King Arthur. I guess we'll have to sit at a round table to eat this. I made a funny. Anyway, caraway seeds. This was the other thing that was like maybe odd, but they keep for a couple of years. So I actually have some. And you need 2 teaspoons full of them in there. This is my teaspoons. You can muddle these, like crush them up if you want, but I'm leaving them whole. I want to be generous with these. A heaping one. Oh, they smell good. I like the Jewish rye. I don't like the soft kind of. I like the hard stuff, and especially for toast. Ooh, love it. Okay, so a little bit of salt, regular salt. You can use kosher or whatever. What does that say? What did I write? 1.5 teaspoons. Okay. I'm going to level these. 1. I'll be a good girl. Do the half. Okay. That's that. Now comes butter. 2 tablespoons of butter. mark these for us is just genius, you know. So 2 tablespoons. I'm just going to cut it. Go around the horn. This has been sitting on my counter. Do you put your butter in the refrigerator? Not if I'm going to use it. I mean, it's in there until I want to put it in my butter bell or whatever. So I'm going to get all that off because this is baking. Should be a little more precise in your baking, Shirley. I'm always ad-libbing. And do you do this too? Okay. I'm making a mess. 1.5 cups of warm water. I got warm water over here, but I think it might be hot water now. Let's see. 1.5. Look at the meniscus. That's 1.5. It should be tepid. It's a little more than tepid. Oh well. Okay, and this is what we're going to put the yeast in, okay? 1.5 teaspoons. Now, I had, what am I always saying? Waste not, want not. I bought these, and these ones were best due by 2021. So I'm not going to use them. You know what? You could use them anyway. Maybe use a little bit more than what's called for, but put it in the side and make sure it activates. Make sure it's going to properly work. Because if I put yucky yeast in here and try and bake it and it doesn't want to rise, that's a waste. But if I put it to the side and watch it first and go, now it'll work. Now I can use it for pizza dough or whatever else I'm making. So into this, I'm going to put 1.5 teaspoons. So I'm going to measure it out just in case you had a jar. I used to bake a lot more and I had a jar of it. I think there's 2.25 or something in here. And let's be precise now, Shirley. This is 1 and then 1/2. I'm such a brat. I'm going to be precise. This is 1/4, so I need another 1/4 of it. Come on. There we go. Okay. You can smell it. It smells kind of yucky when it activated, but right now it just smells pretty good. So I'm going to dunk it down in there. See what I'm doing? Give it a little bit of a stir, just so it gets in the warm water. It's clumping on top a little bit. But that yeast was still okay. This is fast rising yeast. I never seem to use the other stuff. And you people that use the cake yeast, I don't know you. I've never used that. I always wanted to, but I don't know how. So maybe you can let me know, like your best tips on that. I think that I wanted to leave it sit for a second, but let me tell you about this before I dump it in. So everything's in there. Let's see the butter. It smells good. I think there should be more wheat flour. Since I didn't have rye, maybe I should have used a little more wheat to the ratio of bread flour, but in any case, it's going to be good. Okay, so I don't use this to bake it the full way. I use it on dough setting. Every bread maker will have, a dough setting, and it will be for 1.5 or 2 pounds or whatever. So you just go like that and you walk away. I like the dough setting for a couple of reasons. One is it only takes 1.5 hours max to make the dough. Now you're not going to bake it in here. Then after that, you're going to flip it out. Maybe you'll punch it down, certain recipes, and let it rise up again in an oil bowl that you have covered in a warm place. But I'm just going to shape this into whatever I want. I'll see how much it makes. And then let it rise. And then when it gets a little closer to being what I think, you just have to judge. This is cooking and baking, y'all. This isn't like Martha Stewart. So anyway, I'm going to pour this in and let the bread maker do its thing. Okay. Get all the yeast in there. You don't want it in the bottom. That's why I stirred it real quick. That's it, y'all. So I'm going to read it again, okay? Get your pencil ready. Into the bread maker. In this order, room temperature. 1 cup rye flour or whole wheat. 2 3/4 cup of bread flour. We're going to talk about that when I come back. Bread flour and how to do your own. 2 teaspoons of caraway seeds, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of butter softened, 1.5 cups warm water, and then you put 1.5 teaspoons of dry yeast in there. Let's get this in the bread maker, okay? I think it might be good. Let's hope so. I love a good Reuben or a Rachael. What's your favorite, a Reuben or a Rachael?